Relief efforts are heavily underway, but of course half of them are being run simply by the Lebanese people who have taken to the streets since the second day after the explosion in groups sweeping, tidying up what they can, walking into houses and asking how they can help, and if there is no one there, cleaning them anyway. People coming back to their ruined homes to discover that their belongings have been gently placed back on shelves and what can be saved has been saved. And as we've seen, lots of international aid starting to come into the country, and that immediate relief is coming and helping those volunteer teams on the ground. I've been with several of the volunteer groups at their camps where they've started entirely at a grassroots level. They have started groups where they assign people to deal with people who come in saying, we've lost our homes, we don't have any food, we don't know where to live, can you come and see our house? All this planning is happening with volunteers here, and so international leaders are coming and visiting these camps now and saying, how can we help, how can we fund you directly? Now that's in the immediate term. They've also sent multiple planes worth of field hospitals, search and rescue equipment, that's all been going on. Of course, search and rescue continuing now. There was a search and rescue boat on the sea just behind me a few moments ago, but realistically that is now a body recovery effort, which is happening. We are finding bodies of the remaining 10 or so missing people day by day. The more pressing issue is in the future, how the rest of this aid is disseminated. We know, of course, that Emmanuel Macron's conference last weekend raised up to $300 million. Now, of course, the first issue is that comes nowhere near the $15 billion that they reckon is needed to rebuild Beirut, but there are many other fundraising efforts going on. But the problem is, in the long term, how to get that aid into the country. Because, of course, many Lebanese people on the streets saying we do not trust our government to disseminate that aid properly where it needs to go. And the port itself, which is now in the process of being reconstructed because it's so important to the country to be able to get normal goods in, but particularly to be able to get the goods in to start rebuilding the country and helping people, that is run by different factions in the government. They've split it between them because it's such a money-making enterprise. So even being able to get goods into the port, even if governments are saying that they will not work with the Lebanese government and its factions unless they can see where the money is going, they have to in order to have the contracts and the subcontracts with people who work in the port to be able to get those goods in. So a lot of concern here from people on the street that a lot of that money is going to filter off. And of course, normally the language used around these things is very gentle, and governments don't want to be too criticizing of a local government they're working with. But Emmanuel Macron himself last week said, we will not let a penny fall into corrupt hands, referencing some of those groups. That is going to be very challenging to achieve.